Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for Monday, the 8th of March, 2021. Well, I've started this a few times, emphasis on a few times. I don't know. I drew Puella for the geomancy rune, and I guess I'm feeling scattered. I don't know what it is, but so I wrote I made a list of things because I've done it in one, but then I don't do it in the next, and I don't even know how many times I've done this yet. So maybe this is my fourth time. We'll have to check. Anyhow, the last time, in fairness, I forgot to turn it on. So that's probably what let's just not count that one, okay? That doesn't really count because the counter wasn't going. So anyway, the record button wasn't on. But anyhow, esoteric influences are up on the blog, both in post and video form. Remember, the videos go on the side panel. So will this one. When I look at it and finally get it done and look it over and then post it. But it'll go over there on the side panel of the blog. The blog is Stepping Aside. The address is imsteppingaside.com. And so I am stepping aside. Yeah. Anyway, there's a link to it below the video here, so you can just check there. If you want to go read the Esoteric Influences, if you haven't seen those yet, you can get them in your inbox on Sundays if you sign up for the newsletter, also over on that side panel, a little bit higher up on it. You'll have to scroll down to see the videos, but you scroll down just a little bit and you'll see the newsletter sign up. Just put your email in there and it goes to my newsletter software, and then I edit it all and get it all done and then hit send, and I don't, So I thank everybody who's subscribed, by the way. I don't contact you other than that. This is just my newsletter I send out. It has the esoteric influences in it, and it has other stuff in it, magic related or herbal related or something like that, esoteric related, So let's see. Oh, the geese are back, the pair that come every year. I got videos of them. We fed them some scratch grains that we feed the chickens. We did that. They're not afraid of us because they've known us forever now. They come every year. They used to lay on the dock of one of our ponds, but now we put a satellite dish just next to it, and so they haven't been doing that there. Plus, we put the chicken coop up by it, and I think it was just too much of a disturbance for them, and so now they kind of go over on the edge of the pond, between the two ponds, and they do it there. So, and then once they have them, they let us see them for a few days, and then I don't know, they all just leave. They take their babies and they go somewhere else. I don't know where they go. We've never been able to find out. But we've seen other geese do that are in our area where they're nesting on someone else's property adjacent to ours or something. Last year or year before, my husband had to actually assist them. And there was probably, 10 babies that were probably this tall. They were getting pretty big at that point. And so they hadn't yet, and I don't know where they had come from really, but they were coming across the properties behind ours, and he had to actually help them get through a fence. So evidently, wherever they're all going, I think they're all going in the same direction, and it's north. So I don't know if that makes a difference, but that's what that they're here, and it's so exciting. I just love it when they come. Let's see. Favorability for work and magic. I'm including that in the esoteric influences and also in the magical forecasts for each day. We have a neutral effect today if you're going to work magic, and based on the esoteric influences reading and the correspondences for Monday, you can do workings that strengthen or heal relationships with others, particularly if difficult changes have been experienced. And unfortunately, relationships have been an issue, and I think that the reading itself, for whatever reason, seems to align with this. I'm not going to draw different cards. I'm going to keep the same cards in runes. The rune I drew was the controversial Othala. Note there's no little extra feet, though, on the bottom. This is actually Othala, not Odal. I don't know what the Odal rune is. I don't. That's a SS thing or a Nazi thing. So I don't do that. So, runes are a language of light, language of spirit, because of their divinatory meanings. They are. And they weren't just an alphabet or a language that you could leave messages for others, carved into rocks and wood and whatever. They're actually a divinatory tool that the Druids used. And when all this came about, supposedly, the Norns gave them to Odin as he hung upside down in the world tree for 9 days to gain enlightenment. But be that so that tells you right there, it's a language of spirit. So for the fascist people to co-opt this in any way, shape, or form into something else, to me, is horrifying and just awful. So when I drew this today, I was happy to be able to talk about this. We see, this is ancestry. This is the Akashic record. It's the last rune of the Elder Futhark. So it's the culmination of all the soul archetype energy of the runes into this last particular rune. You look at this and it is literally Kenaz in all directions. So it's the light of spirit, both inward and outward. The potential with Ingus at the top and Gebo, the X at the bottom. It's all, you can see it looks like a greater than sign as Kenaz. Well, it's everywhere, in all directions. And so it's the light of spirit being emanated inward and outward. So it's not, the CPAC stage. That was stupid. Stupid. But it told us how they think. That was done intentionally. I don't believe it was an accident. That had to have been done intentionally because they were given the plans for it, from what I've read. And the people who formatted and created the stage, they were told what to do and how and what shape they wanted. Well, my God. This is Puella. Scattered little girl energy. It's very positive rune. It's about curiosity, and it's about keeping options open, and it's about looking here and there and understanding even the greater picture, because you're seeing little pieces of it all over the place, right? Because you're looking, you're very interested in everything. But it also means that it indicates that a perception is not fixed, which brings us into the workings that strengthen or heal relationships, because once, something gets broken in that regard, it's usually due to fixed perceptions. People won't budge, right? They won't apologize. They won't consider that, well, maybe there's another way of seeing this, They just don't. They get fixed in their perceptions. So, the cards today, the King of Wands, someone who tends to get fixed in his perception. He's not looking at us again, You see his little elemental, the salamander down there, which is a fire elemental. Wands represents element of fire. And he's not, he can be a good guy, be very protective and all of that. But, he's still the king that won't look you in the eye. Just like all of them. Concerned with their own stuff, Maybe stuck in his own perception. That's how he expresses his own authority. This is what I think. Doesn't matter what the truth is. It just matters what he thinks, right? Well, I see it this way. Well, but what if you're just wrong, right? What if you're wrong? So when we talk about relationships, we talk about the drama that's gone on for the last 4 or 5 years, and where relationships have really, really been affected by it, and not in a good way. You've got people with weird perceptions about conspiracy stuff that's really just gone. It's run amok. It's on steroids. None of it's true. The fourth came and went, and President Biden's still our president. We got the COVID bill passed, and so I guess they've shifted that date to the 20th now, to Ostara and this spring equinox. Yeah. So that's just fun times, isn't it? They got to get with the program, right? They got to get right in their heads, and they're not. They're living under an illusion that's been strengthened by that guy, But again, whether you're talking about an individual or you're talking about how fixed your perceptions are within, even if we just don't look at this as a guy in authority, if we look at it in terms of the qualities of it, where maybe his will is so aligned in his own perceptions that he can't get any puella going so that he can loosen those perceptions at all, and try to see things a different way. So it requires him to hang upside down from the gallows pole. The Hanged Man, the 12th card from the Major Arcana, Soul Archetype card, where we align in spirit. And as you can see here, you've got the light of spirit surrounding his head. And what that's doing is it's trying to infuse how he sees things in form. And to get that whole perception be based on spirit instead of ego. And so here, this is about surrender and dropping resistance. It's about triplicity, mind, body, spirit balance. You see some threes here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. If there was a fourth one, then you'd have the 4 threes that make up the 12. But here you have triple aspects here. It considers past, present, and future. It considers where we've been, where we are, and where we're going, in other words. And how we're going to manifest that. 3 is a catalytic number. It's manifesting. It's interaction. So again, how are we going to, and communication, how are we going to communicate spirit within the perceptions? And are we able to loosen them up enough to know that when the perception that we have is faulty enough that it's causing harm, and the inability to come back together in harmony with other people? Because we can't even come into some kind of rational harmony with the self, you see. So then we end here with the 2 of Cups. And here we see a man and a woman. He's reaching his hand out to her. Again, trying to heal his own expression of will and what that did to the relationship, okay? He's had his moment where he can come back into alignment, right? And they're both willing to come back into reciprocity and healing with one another. You see the winged sun above. You see the caduceus right here. Representing healing and alignment. You see in the background here, you see a home, because everything, their Othala, their tradition, their family, has been affected by the refusal of the will to see some other side of the issue, to see the other person's perspective, or to loosen your own perceptions enough that you can actually see the truth. I would venture to guess that a lot of what's happening in terms of relationships like right now is you've got people on the conspiracy side and the other people going, oh my God. And they literally don't know what to do because they will not listen. They're so stuck in what they believe. I saw a little video of a woman who may be my age, roughly in my age group, and she's talking about how all this conspiracy stuff, and she's absolutely certain about it, absolutely certain. And I can imagine her family is just horrified and doesn't know what to do. She won't listen, you see. And so what needs to happen is not only perceptions need to heal, but everybody needs to be able to trust enough to come into reciprocity and extend a hand when it's been your will that's been the problem. You can look at this as polarity. You can look at it as masculine and feminine balance within. But just the fact that the man representing the will, the projective influence, is reaching out to the woman who represents the receptive influence, trying to heal that divide. But it comes with loosening perceptions that Puella can give you today, so that we preserve our history, our tradition, our family, our legacy. Because the greatest legacy we have here is not our possessions, not the home we own or the cars we own or what, you know, the expensive clothing we wear. It's not that. It's the relationships that we establish with one another, within the family, within friendships, within neighbors, within the community. Because right now we can see that evidenced in the country, that we've got a divide brought about by this guy. Reinforced, I should say, not brought about, but reinforced by this guy. By an expression of unrelenting will that is not based in reality, but based on agenda and a giant con or lie. So it takes going within to reestablish what the truth is. It takes an alignment in spirit, letting go of everything, all the trappings around you, and surrendering to spirit, so that you can finally understand that the truth is something else. So regardless of which side of the issue you're on here, it's going to take both sides to find healing again. And to express, you know, a shared experience of love and unity with one another. But again, it's the individual with the issue of will and fixed perception now that has to loosen that. But conversely, those people that don't have that issue need to be waiting with their hearts open, ready to receive, as she is doing here. She's waiting to receive that gift from the man. And I'm not saying that whatever's happened vis-a-vis relationships, again, are male oriented. They're not. It's men and women are doing this. And are involved in all this conspiracy stuff that has been so divisive. It's the belief structure that liberals are the enemy, when liberals prop up the country tax dollar wise. So if we weren't there, what would happen? If we're so much the enemy, then don't take our money. See what happens. See, it's that we all rise and fall together. So can we all just agree to rise together? I think we can. And that's what I think that the Two of Cups is telling us to do, is to heal that division. To, you know, if your will has been so strong that you can't listen to other people, loosen those perceptions and see if something starts to not feel right about it all. Because I bet it will. Some of these people that are sitting in jail for going to the Capitol on the 6th, they're like, oh, wow, we were duped. We were conned. We were lied to. What am I doing in prison? What am I doing in this jail? Why can't I get out? Well, you committed a crime. I don't know. You did a bad thing. But you see, they did what they were told, they say. Well, yeah, you did, but you also made a choice to do so. And that's what's happening now. There's nobody's going to save them from what they did. Again, their perceptions got so fixed, just like this, where they couldn't see anything other than their own thing. Right? Their own ideas, their own perceptions. This is the truth. When none of it was. It was all a big con. It was all a big lie. To goad them into doing what they did. So, at some point, though, we all have to come back together and live in harmony and try to get on a shared path forward. It might have been nice to do that surrounding the virus, but of course that's not happening. And now we've got governors in states that are saying, oh yeah, come on in, open everything up. Don't wear masks anymore. Yeah, you better. You better. Even if you get the vaccine, they're saying wear the masks for a while longer till they give you the all clear. And I don't even know then that we'll ever truly be all clear. You know, maybe this is where we are now. Maybe new viruses are going to start to be, forming, developing. Who knows? With climate changing the way that it is, lots of things are melting and lots of things are being unearthed that have laid dormant and hidden. And now they're coming out. Bound to happen. But again, you had corporate whatever deciding that we don't want regulations. We want to pollute the environment. As long as we make a fortune, we don't care, right? We don't care. Well, I think at some point we're going to have to care. And instead of having, the corporate world control everything, how about we do that? How about the people control it, But instead, we keep electing people that are beholden only to corporations and not to the American people. So if we don't, in other words, if we don't get out of that fixed perception of things, that somehow the Reaganomics, the trickle-down economics is a real thing, which it isn't. It was a scam. Oh, it'll treat you, just let us make a lot of money, it'll trickle down to you. No. I remember when I heard that first time, I laughed out loud. I thought, oh, really? And I think I must have been in my early 20s, maybe. I think. Like 2021 or something when I heard that. I started laughing. It's like, yeah, like that's going to happen. I don't know. Again, I think that we buy into stuff because, well, I don't know why we do, really. It fits a narrative that we have been living with. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But we tell ourselves that it's going to be this way and it's going to be fine, and it isn't. So I think that it takes the ability to let go of perceptions that we've had and reconsider and at least consider a new path, a new set of ideas, and not be afraid of that. It takes going within, like with the hanged man, and letting the light of spirit just sort of draw that down into who you are, and let that be your focal point. You don't have to wait to do that until you shed these bodies, right? You can do that here. You can do that now. You can know your spirit now, and function. Try to at least function from that level, from that type of an awareness, instead of one that's so ego-based. Because I think that's what we're seeing right now. And because we had a big ego at the helm, if you want to call it that, it's managed to instill this same sort of thing in a whole bunch of people. And they believe a lot of stuff that led some of them to the Capitol on January 6th. And now they're going to pay for that. You think he cares? Nope. Send me money. I need more money. Yeah, so that's what we've got. And I think that, so it's not that we're going to look at authority this week like we did the last 2 weeks, but that I think that we need to take the inner will that has become so focused and fixed on a certain set of ideas, and we need to loosen it, and we need to let spirit come in and purify and cleanse all of that. And if it's not aligning with spirit, then let go of it. If it's aligning only with ego, let go of it, and try to see things from a different perspective, and come back and heal the relationships that have been so profoundly affected. I have to tell you, just over the virus alone, whether or not people want to wear masks, it's really causing problems with people. Because if you're not going to keep me safe, then I don't want to know you. I really don't. And I don't want you around me. I don't trust you. That's where it's come down to. And again, are you going to listen to truth, or are you going to listen to just what, some other guy that doesn't really have your best interests at heart? you're going to listen to that person. And so it's just basically gummed up the works, essentially. And that's why things are so bad right now in terms of relationships with others. People get into fights in stores and restaurants and, fisticuffs, all out brawls over this. And we shouldn't be there at all. We should all be on the same page about this. And then I'd be able to see my grandchildren. I've talked to lots of people. They're in the same boats. Like I don't feel like I would want to risk, giving them anything. Couldn't do that to them. That's how we feel. We could mask up. We could do it. Everybody being masked up, but I don't want to take that risk. Not for my little grandbabies. Not at all. So anyway, think about what it is to heal and heal relationships and what that looks like this going forward this week, and see what we do on Thursday, if this is going to give us a little more information about it, or if maybe we can turn a corner to something else. But let healing be on your mind this week. And if an overture is made, then, consider taking it and see if you can't rebuild the relationships that have been torn apart over the last few years. So they're so important. They really, really are. No matter what it may seem like in the moment, in the future, we all need one another. So see if we can't heal all of that and begin that process. So anyhow, thanks so much for watching. Come back on Thursday and we'll talk again. And, wear a mask. If you go out around, wear 2 masks. If you go out and around anyone at all, inside or out. We've got those variants are out there and we don't know yet. So especially if you haven't gotten your vaccines, and even if you have, they still want you to wear the masks. So we will, and I hope you do too. So be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.